sports.
Yeah, he just said what I've been kind of playing around with in my brain now for a little while and not knowing how to exactly say it, which is the part about, you don't have – these guys aren't, like, being forced at gunpoint to go play college football. Yeah. And, like, it does feel like we're just catering to everybody who has a complaint. And I say we, but, just in general, it's the college football machine just seems to cater of, like, oh, you need another year? Okay, here you go. And it's just it's the poor woe is me, athlete and everything's against it. It's just like this narrative, and then the whole time we just pretend like there's not these vampires who are sucking the blood out of the sport and milking it for as much money as they can when they clearly are. You see them all over Twitter arguing about NIL and player rights and all this, and all that's valid and all that needs to be a conversation. But the moment that you try to push back it all of a sudden, like you're anti-athlete, you hate the players, you're pro the machine, and it's like you can read the playbook, and it's exactly what he said of there's guys that are milking the system now at this point because they don't want to move on and because they can keep playing the victim card and get a 7th year of eligibility, or like Talia's trying to do, get a year that he should have no business receiving because he went past the threshold. Yeah. And yet here we are, last week, and here's Paul going, well, I bet they give it to him. And you're saying that just because they cave on everything, when the reality should be like, no, sorry, pal. The person who was in charge of your eligibility screwed up at Alabama, and they should have paid closer attention, or they should have realized that maybe you're not going to get drafted after 3 years and you might need that year. But sorry, somebody screwed up, and you can't put it back in the bottle, and you can't play another year because you went over the threshold. But here we are actually debating like, well, do you think he gets it? Derp, because they get everything else, right? And so, I see where he's coming from. You just want it to be college football. It's not anti-athlete. It's not hey, get your year back. But at some point when guys are like 7th-year seniors, it's just like enough already. And the example that he gave of Casey Thompson is the perfect one. It's not just 7 years, dude. It's 4 schools in 7 years. Like, what are we even doing here? And so as somebody who is very pro-athlete, I've even reached that point where it's like, come on now, dude. You're just bouncing around, collecting checks, and good for you. But, like, give me some semblance of actual college football where eligibility matters. You're not supposed to be here for 6 years.
That's part of the challenge, right?
Right.
Is that you have to, and look, you have to do this in professional sports, but you have to reset your roster all the time. That's how the great ones did it. That's what we came up knowing. And for, this, here's my problem with all of this. Craig, I think you and I kind of have the same feeling on this. Like, I think everybody should get everything that they're worth.
Yeah.
But we also need to have a real conversation about what everybody's worth, and things get done in the middle. Like, productivity and long-term success happens in the middle. When something skews one way or the other, then we hit gridlock. We hit ineffectiveness and things crumble. That's why, it's not good for one side or the other just to win constantly, because there are things that just, people are different, and you have to find something in the middle. And that's what college football needs to find, and college athletics needs to find, is a middle ground where it's not about like, well, you can't transfer 4 times.
What did you just say? You couldn't find a middle ground? That's why they're in the position they're in, because the NCAA never wanted a middle ground.
They're exactly right.
Entirely,
and look, you can look throughout human history. Like, I'll just throw out the French Revolution. All right, why did the French Revolution happen? Because the aristocrats put the pedal to the floor for so long that eventually the people in France were like, nope, we're cutting off some heads now. Let's go. Well, they could have avoided all that by going, oh, maybe this is a little greedy. And that's what the NCAA did. They are now in their French Revolution of, all right, well, you guys weren't going to listen to us forever. And it's not like, I know some people may feel like this is a new thing, but look, when I was a kid, I remember Chris Webber talking about like, hey, it's kind of bullcrap that I can walk past a store in the window and there's 100 Michigan number 2 jerseys and I don't get a penny out of that because that's me.
Yeah.
And the NCAA said, yeah, but it's not you.
Yeah, but that's also a different part of the conversation.
But then like those things, so it's not like it's a different part of the conversation, but those things there are what led to all this.
Yeah, no, it's the NCAA's fault entirely.
Because had they just said like, you know what, you're right there, then maybe some of these other things that are happening now never come up because people are like, well, this is a pretty good gig I've got here. Then I'm ready to go to the next level and move on, as opposed to, all right, well, you guys didn't let us do anything. Well, now I'm going to challenge you on every single thing I can because I know that you can't win.
Yes, and that's why all the lawyers have gathered, and they know that they can put out anything there that they want to, and they're going to win because there's really no argument for the NCAA and most every single one of these situations. And so, yeah, it's their fault. They pushed the pedal to the metal, and as far as making money off the backs of athletes and not sharing it, and now they're in a position where all of the receipts are due, basically, and they're getting hit from every corner. And so I don't pity the institutions. I don't pity the athletic departments that got all of those millions of dollars. I'm not team school where they get, poor them.
No, absolutely
It's just a matter of like, I just want to enjoy the sport where the guy's not playing his 7th year at his 4th school. I mean, that's all. Like, that's all I'm asking for. And if he is, like, there should be a damn good reason as to why that is, but here we are, and look, the COVID year has also added to this, and that was something unforeseen that nobody could have planned for. You knew it was going to cause some disruptions down the line, and that's what it's done. But yeah, if the solution is a union, or if the solution is some kind of contractual agreement, or the solution is whatever it has to end up being to actually get to the middle ground that we so desire, so be it. I'm not against any of that. I'm all for the players getting what they're owed. But yeah, let's wrangle this into where it at least makes sense and resembles the game that we grew up watching, even though it's not the same game in that, yes, now you can get paid, but that doesn't mean you have to let everything go that everybody wants all the time. And that's what it's begun to feel like, and that they're even scared to even fight because they know that once it goes to court, they're going to lose.
They had all the control. They had all of the leverage. They had complete power. They got greedy, and their egos would not allow themselves to have somebody within the NCAA to be able to look into the future. The guardrails, there's some, and even Conundrum and others. And by the way, Congo, we'll get to your super chat in a minute. It's not that I don't want the players to get what they want. The point that I'm trying to make is eventually they would have lost a lawsuit. But they would have still been, at the time, if 15 or 20 years ago or before, whenever the first lawsuit came down, obviously Georgia, Oklahoma, and TV and all that, they had a chance where they could have negotiated with the players with the power. Now they have none. I think Casey Thompson playing 7 years, good for him. But is it good for college football? If you're a fan of Georgia, if you're a fan of Alabama, Ohio State, Texas, etc., you love today's college football. I would think you would love it because what's preventing you from even becoming more powerful? Even though someone could end up going to a Western Michigan or elsewhere and be pretty good. What is going to keep you from becoming more powerful? You would love where it is, like pig and slop. But is it in the best interest of college football? I don't know. Here's the super chat.